Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. So today we're going to be doing an archer versus archer battle. Well, not really an archer, but in general just range unit. For example, over here we have a crossbowman, and there's about 100. Yep, there's 100 on every side. So the first battle we have is 100 crossbowmen versus 100 archers. So let's go ahead and see this. I think the crossbows will win, but who really knows? Okay, the first exchange really matters here. Okay, just waiting for this shot over here, and there we are. The first arrows have come. Oh, and there's have absolutely laying these guys down. Ooh, however, there is a big clapback in the shots over here. However, it seems like the crossbowmen are actually backing up, while the archers are not, and the archers are reloading and are firing their shots. And I also have still a couple of them. Ooh, but a lot of them actually fired back the crossbows. Oh, a lot of them also have fallen. Okay, seems like so far the archers are doing a little bit better, I'd say. I mean, just look at all those bodies over here. Actually, I think the crossbowmen do have more numbers and they deal a lot more damage. However, the archers I think are a bit more precise and a bit faster reload, so this should really work out in the archers' favor, I think. However, with this big lump pile, I don't really see that happening, so... Oh, okay, there we are for the shot. They're trying to get for the corner and getting absolutely sniped. Okay, come on. However, they are getting through and shooting a couple of rounds. However, I don't think that's going to be as big of a deal. Okay, seems like they're also firing back now. And they're going to be doing a lot of damage if they actually connect, if they don't fall off the map. Oh, okay, they might actually fall off the map right now. Yeah, this is a really big flaw. They actually back up, which normally is very good for range units, but the thing is with these guys is that with clips they can easily back them off, and there we are. Actually, the archers did win, which is pretty surprising, but anyway, on to the next battle. Okay guys, so now we have the crossbowmen over here. These are a different type of crossbowmen, the Chinese type, so let's see how these guys do. And the first contact has been made, and they absolutely destroyed those guys. Now the archers are clapping back with a lot of firepower. Okay, seems like the crossbows are already coming down. However, the archers over here are actually just starting to come down. I do believe that the Chinese ones are a bit faster over here, and a lot of dead bodies up top, as usual. Seems like we're going to make contact over here. Let's go ahead and watch it from these guys' perspective. Okay, a couple of shots have been however, they are now returning fire. The archers seem to be doing pretty well right now. Absolutely destroying those guys. Yeah, I thought they have a lot better range, so that's why they're a lot better. Ooh, however, they are starting to fire back, and a lot of bodies started to pile up. Okay, there seems like they fired the line. Actually, let's watch the volley, and there we are, a big volley. However, the archers are also clapping back. This time they actually didn't do that much damage. I mean, they still did a pretty lot of damage. Ooh, a lot of archers are actually standing over here to finish these guys who are still alive over here. Oh, and they actually survived still. So these guys are going to have to be taken care of pretty soon over here. Which is going to be pretty hard to do. We have pretty big shields. Well, not pretty big. It's just very effective shields. Okay, these guys are probably not going to do that well right now. Ooh, however, there's a lot of firepower going in. Okay, the problem is they don't really have a great reach. Ooh, that was a nice toss by these people over there. A couple more tosses coming down. Just a lot more hitting them, absolutely destroying the archers right now. However, it does seem like the archers are coming down. There's a lot more of them just waiting. Yeah, a lot of them are just absolutely getting killed. However, I do think that the archers might still have a chance. I actually think that probably the spearfords are going to win already. There's a big pile up over here. Ooh, that was a nice snipe. That was another good sniper in the page, I think. Yeah, it seems like the archers are not going to be having a fun time. All of these guys over here are dead. A lot of bodies everywhere, especially over here, like a little bit cluster. But I think there's only like 3-4 guys left, and these guys are just going to get finished off pretty soon. Let's go ahead and grab. Guys, I think we can really kill them faster. But this is basically a win. We have just like so many of these guys that eventually these guys are going to die. There we are. On to the next battle. Versus the spear guys. I actually don't think that it's going to be very hard to beat the spears over here. However, I think we are going to try, and there's a lot of fire going right out there. Ooh, and these guys pretty much all are still alive, which are going to be completely finished off pretty soon. But they still actually lasted a long time, and also going to get a couple more kills. Those shields are really helping them out, however I don't think they're going to be helping them out for that much longer. Still getting kills though. Yeah, definitely absolutely going to get frozen in the back here. Ooh, this guy is actually still alive. What an absolute chat, he has an arrow right in his head, he's still alive, he's still reloading, and he also fired and took out another archer. This guy's really good. Okay, now let's go ahead and watch the main action unfold. That guy is still standing over there, still standing. Yeah, he still remains standing. Will he get a kill? He did. Very OP guy, that guy. Ooh, a lot of fire being thrown out. Okay, now it's time for fire rings. Okay, the ice archers are going to get absolutely body pile over here. Yeah, pretty much the same thing happens with the regular archers. These guys are just going to get absolutely concussion. However, there are a couple of them, so there's a lot of them. However, still going to get destroyed. Numbers don't really mean that much value. Right, so now we have a firework archers. Let's see how they do. They should fare a little bit better. And there we are, the volleys have been pushed off. Oh, that's a lot of firepower going straight into them. A lot of firework dead, and one is actually going to explode. Team killing a lot of their actual troops. Pretty hefty amount, I'd say. And now there are still a lot of firework archers up top. However, I think they might be able to kill themselves. But firework archers are very deadly because they're very suicidal also. We still have this one brave soldier over here trying to take care of business, and he gets shot once and the shield's still alive. Ooh, this is going to be some big explosions. Yep, a lot of damage caused. I have absolutely no doubt that the firework archers are going to remove here. Yep, just exploding everything. I actually think the firework archers are going to be absolutely very hard to deal with. Right, so now guys we have a musketeer, and this is going to be very fun to watch. There we are, I absolutely destroyed these guys, sent them all the way back over here, and now there's a pretty little amount of them over there. It is going to be some big explosion, but I think they can handle it, at least somewhat. There we are, a lot more warriors are now starting to absolutely pile them up. Okay, and now there's only a couple of these guys still alive, which are now backing off. Yeah, if we just take a look at the numbers, we see a very big disadvantage for the firework archers. They seem to have about 20 or something, yeah, pretty hard to estimate. Oh, that was a nice shot. Sent that guy flying. However, we do have a lot of musketeers over here still alive, which are going to be bringing a lot of battle. There we are. That was a nice double kill. Ooh, that was a lot of firepower. Yeah, it seems like the fire archers are going to be going down. Fire archers is simply fire archers. This is also going to be pretty interesting, but I think they're also going to get absolutely destroyed. Oh, a lot of them clapping back, but I don't think that's going to be much. Oh, they do burn, though, they do burn. They can reload very quickly, so they can pretty much take care of the entire army right here. Ooh, but amount of just sheer firepower destroy these guys. Yeah. So by the looks of it, there's a lot of dead men all around, but I think the skeletons took a lot more casualties than simply the musketeers did. However, now these guys are pushing forward very aggressively, very fast. However, I don't think it's going to work out that well. We're trying to close the distance, which is actually pretty smart. However, I think we are simply going to get sniped. That is a lot of firing over here. It was dangerous fire. So now we have a dead island. See how they do. Ooh, that was pretty bad also. They do have a bit of a faster fire rate, actually a very high fire rate. However, The creatures were just so much fun that I think I will still survive. Yeah, I mean, only a couple died in that second big volume, and a lot of them are already moving up, so it's going to be pretty hard for these guys with Deadeye to keep up. However, I do think that with Deadeye can have the ability to win Barrier. It's actually pretty good for them that they dodge, because Barrier they can dodge off a map, however it's also a very big disadvantage. Ooh, that was a nice double kill. There keep falling down for Barrier. That is absolutely amazing shot from them over here. Yeah, we seem to have a very good sniper doing a lot of damage to them now. I do think I think just the sheer number of bullets will still get me. We must be careful to come in around these guys are very good. But Pedro still put up a pretty great fight though. Killed a lot of them, yeah, a whole bunch of them. On to the last battle. Alright guys, so now we have the three Darths over here, Darth Anakin. Well, Anakin's not really Darth, but we just have some Star Wars units. So let's see how they do. Making sure we're about to get absolutely smoked. Yep. Somehow they're still alive is because they tank the damage with their rage ability. Okay, we are missing. Okay, seems like Darth Vader is coming down. I think he's going to get shot at a couple of times. There we are. He did block him. Maul over here is still alive. And he's very deadly right here. He might fall off. Yep, he definitely fell off. But he's still keeping them up and occupied over here. However, I think these guys are not coming down. Yep, Anakin is over here coming down. I think that that Maul just died. And Anakin is also probably going to die. Actually, not to be mistaken. Yep, this was a victory. However, I did think that we are actually going to lose a couple of people. Oh, wait a second, they actually did. Anakin lost in the last second. Well, that was actually a very big upset. Didn't really think he was going to die. Oh, and Darth Maul. Wait a second, Darth Maul and Anakin are both dead. So that only leaves Darth Vader. However, I don't really think that we're gonna do it versus two Deadeye versus an entire Darth Vader. He actually has lost a lot of health, but I think this is going to end it off today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.